Okay, and when you hear that applause, you know that it's time for another episode from my podcast series, Patrick's Place. Right here, coming to you from Studio 62, still a work in progress. I am building this out, and I call it Studio 62 because studios have a name, either Studio 1, Studio 2, Studio 12, Studio A. But I chose 62 because it's the year Jamaica gained its political independence. Tonight, I will be offering a conversation on the second debate as the Jamaican election draws nigh. It's on Wednesday, September 3. The debate tonight was on the economy. The teens for the PNP, Julian Robinson, he's the opposition spokesperson on finance, Peter Bunting, the opposition spokesperson on national security, and Keisha Anderson, the treasurer of the People's National Party. For the Jamaica Labour Party, it was the Finance Minister, Fable Williams, the Minister of Health and Wellness, Dr. Christopher Tufton, and Dr. Dana Morris Dixon, the Minister of Education. Now, how I will score this debate, I'm laying it out now, is I looked at 11 important points that were made in this debate in terms of the questions asked by the questioners Andrea Chisholm, Al Edwards, and questions from social media. And the way that I have it is I will score those 11 sections that I have determined are crucial, that resonated with those who watched the debate, and I'll score 10 for each, and that's how I divvy it up for both parties. Just before I get into the debate itself, remember to subscribe for my podcast. You can type in Patrick Anderson Jamaica or Patrick Anderson Radio. The podcast will pop up for our weekly conversation. But as I said, with events fast moving, I have a podcast here and I'll have another after the leadership debate. And then I'll have the forecast of the election on my August 29th podcast. So let's get after it. And, you know, the issue of the Jamaica Labour Party's outstanding macroeconomic performance came to the fore and really cast a huge shadow over this debate in terms of all the questions I thought emanated from the fact that the JLP managed to cut the debt to GDP ratio from 130% to 62%. That is a fantastic achievement. The People's National Party has recognized that that is stability. The JLP, very careful, very structured, very tactical in their approach and in terms of enforcement to collect taxes, and the People's National Party proposing their $3.5 million tax threshold. No income tax if you're earning $3.5 million or less. The question is, how would they propose to pay for it? The JLP as well, how would they propose to continuing to increase the tax threshold of no income tax? They have moved it up to 1.8, they're looking to move it to 1.9 and up to $2 million over the next 2 years. So let's quickly go through this. One of the first questions that really hit spoke to this. And Julian Robinson of the People's National Party, I thought, gave a good response, made the point that the $1.5 million tax threshold proposed by the current Prime Minister, Andrew Holness, back in 2016, $1.5 million cost $55 billion in taxes. And so what he said that he would do for the People's National Party should they be elected is that there would be readjustment of various programs. He spoke about the different buckets in the budget, that you have to service debt, salaries and wages, a huge component of the budget for any company, for any household, the capital budget and the programmatic budget. So he mentioned that they are going to be looking to grow the economy to pay for this. I didn't think that that was a very convincing argument, but it is a way that they propose to pay for this $3.5 million tax threshold. I gave the Jamaica Labour Party 8 points out of 10 here, and the People's National Party 7. Now, the question of the diaspora, being frustrated with monies being sent back, remittances, and also the fact that it's a little bit difficult at the wars to clear barrels. The Jamaica Labour Party, I thought I gave the full 10 points. Dr. Dana Morris Dixon was outstanding in her response. She was pointed, she answered the question, spoke about creating efficiencies at the wars, talking about making it a hub. Keisha Anderson's, her answer was very well structured, but if I'm marking this as an exam answer, I would have to give her 0. And so I gave the PNP 0 for that because she failed to answer the question. The issue of fiscal rules that both parties are bound to play by, they both was a wash, so I gave each of them 7 points. The Peter Bunting spoke about having a social outreach to the people after you balance the books. Well, how will the people now see the benefits? And Julian Robinson spoke about that they will issue the SSL report, and asked for the Jamaica Labour Party to release the FinSAC report, which cost $150 million. Now, they also spoke about the legislation of the debt to GDP ratio issue. Julian Robinson spoke about the fact that it was indeed legislated by the People's National Party when they were in office, that the debt had to be paid down. So I gave the People's National Party 8 points on that issue, the JLP 3. And then when it came to the issue of on the education side and what the parties will do to help the poor, Dr. Dana Morris Dixon, again, her answers were very practical. She's a very practical person, and she mentioned the high transportation costs. She mentioned the high cost of lunch as to why, when it came to the end of the school week, classes were empty. But then the People's National Party hit back. I think it was Peter Bunting talking about the plan to offer a $10,000 subsidy to assist, and also to offer hot lunches and offer a more structured transportation system. For that issue, it was a wash for me. I gave both parties 8 points. Now, I must say here that there was a constant battle between Dr. Tufton and Peter Bunting throughout this debate, with throwing barbs at each other. Nothing is wrong with that, a little hargy-bargy in a debate, but I thought it was a little bit over the top because it was not the time and the place. Tufton kept up the pressure on Bunting, and Bunting kept up the pressure on the JLP and its leader, but there are no points awarded for those because those are not the issues that the people were concerned about. Dr. Dana Morris Dixon, again, very proficient in her answer when they spoke about the pressures on the people in terms of the macroeconomy doing very well, no question about that, under the stewardship of the Jamaica Labour Party. And she said, okay, what more can they do? She said 15% of NHD houses will be built for those under the age of 35. That is a way of attracting the youth vote. But then Peter Bunting hit right back and talked about a social revolution emanating from the stability in the economy, talking about folks must have the ability to purchase a home. It's the dream of everybody to own a home, to own a car, to level up and rise. And Keisha Anderson chimed in by saying that young people, they have no hope, and she might have asked the question of the night. It's a Ronald Reagan question. Are you better off now than you were 4 years ago? She posed that question, a rhetorical question, midway the debate. Might have gotten lost a bit, but it was a very important question. I give the PNP 9 points to that issue, the JLP 8. On the matter of the public sector and how the public sector is treated, they are having negotiations now for salary and wage increase. The PNP spoke about monies in the budget that is there that they will be using to pay, And the JLP said, look, they have given the largest wage increase in history. That's a wash. I gave both parties 7 points. Again, when we looked at the issue of the debt to GDP ratio, a very good question was asked by Al Edwards, because it was said that the PNP, when they were in office, they were hyper-focused on meeting the IMF targets, and now the JLP is hyper-focused on the debt to GDP ratio. But whither the people? And therein, Dr. Dana Morris Dixon, very practical in her response. The PNP came back and spoke about building out the middle class, lifting up the people, and removing tax on overtime. Reduction in the importation bill. I gave the PNP 8 points here because they spoke about developing agriculture with new technology, with new machinery, funding the farmers, reducing the import bill by 25% in their term, and accessing loans for farmers. Those are very important issues. If you're going to reduce the importation bill, you're going to have to attack agriculture. The answer by the Jamaica Labour Party I found to be unsatisfactory. I gave them 3 points. About the platforms operating in Jamaica and not paying taxes, I gave the PNP 8 points because Julian Robinson gave a superb answer in terms of working with regional governments to battle the sturdiness of the power and might of these platforms. And the last thing spoke about the delivery of health services, and I gave both party a wash. So here is my scorecard. In the end, on those 11 sections, I ended up scoring the People's National Party with 75 points and the Jamaica Labour Party with 69 points. So again, another close debate, marginally won by the People's National Party, in my opinion. And overall, on the PNP side, I had Julian Robinson as the best speaker, ahead of Peter Bunting and Keisha Anderson. On the JLP side, Dr. Dana Morris Dixon was a revelation, very outstanding, ahead of Dr. Christopher Tufton and Fable Williams. Overall, I had Julian Robinson and Dr. Dana Morris Dixon in a tie, ahead of Tufton, Bunting, Keisha Anderson, and Fable Williams. You know, if I had dropped in on this debate and not had any familiarity with the players on the debate stage and the country, I would believe that Dr. Dana Morris Dixon was the Minister of Finance. Dr. Fable Williams looked a little bit lost and uncertain. She may be good, but she didn't make a good debater. So that's how I see this second debate. Remember, you can subscribe and just type in Patrick Anderson Jamaica, Patrick Anderson Radio. I will be back with another podcast looking at the leadership debate. So until then, be well, be safe, let the conversations continue, and let your comments continue to come in. Good night.